This is the Roulette Master, and in honor of Masters Week, for those of you that play golf, I thought I'd tell you something about myself today, and that is that I'm also a golf professional. So I'm watching the Masters this week, obviously. I think there's probably a lot of you out there that like golf as well, and I'm going to do some comparisons today to what good golfers do and good roulette players do, because there's a lot of similarities. There's also a lot of similarities between inconsistent golfers and bad roulette players. And then I'm also going to talk about some of the systems that have done well lately and which ones haven't. And you're going to notice a lot of things in common. So many of the systems that have done well lately, like the Unicorn, JS21, Lenny's system, where with a 2 forward, 1 back with 2 12s, and any of these you can go back and watch later. But they're all grinded out systems where you have to wait, you have to be patient, you need small startups and large bankrolls. So you start with a small amount, you have a large bankroll, and you have to be patient. And that's similar to like how the way Tiger Woods or Jack Nicklaus plays golf, the two best players of all time. They worked really hard. They put a lot of time in. They were prepared. They they didn't take a lot of risks, and they slowly got better every day. And then we'll talk about someone like John Daly, who's a lot of fun, and he takes tons of risks. And but when he doesn't do well, that's he really does poorly. And a lot of you have probably heard he claims to have lost $50 million gambling. So he gambles the same way that he plays golf. So there's a lot of similarities between these systems that have done well on the channel lately and the way that Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus do things, which is to grind it out, be tough, and be patient. For instance, the one we just did this week, the Unicorn, that takes a lot of patience as well. You're going back and forth between stage 1 and stage 2, but if you're really patient, you can you can do fantastic with that system. But when you do bust and you lose $160 on $10 bets, you just have to be patient enough for that to come back. For those of you that haven't seen that one, I'll do a quick example, and then I'll show you a few other systems that have done well lately. But on that one, you basically are starting with first and second 12, and you're spinning. And when you win, you just keep winning. But when you lose, like we just did, you go to stage 2, which means you go from 1 unit to 6 units on second and third, and then you put 2 units on 2 of the corners. And then what this does is it wins your money back that you lost on stage 1, and then you go back to winning again. Now, if you bust on stage 2, you lose $160. And for those of you that are patient, you will get that back just by continuing to bet on getting wins on first and second 12. But it requires patience. Another system recently that has done really well was the JS21 system. That's where you bet first and second 12 and leave out the third 12. And once you do hit a third 12, you sit out until, just like it did there, third 12 hits, you sit out, and you keep spinning without betting until you hit something that's not third 12. That requires patience. And then you basically go from 10 to 20 on those. You go up 1 unit each time as you so you would go from 10 to 20 and spin. And then if you lost with the third 12, you would sit out again and you would add another unit. And all of these I'm not going to go over a long time today, but you can always go back and watch the other videos. But this is another video that just shows that you need patience to play well playing roulette. So the first one was the Unicorn. This is JS21. Then Lenny's system has done fantastic, which is to bet on 2 12s and then go up 2 back 1. and that requires a lot of patience if you get behind. So let me show you how that works, and then you can always go watch the video to see more there. But if you win, you stay at $10 with that one. But if you lose, you would go to 30, and then if you lost again, you'd go to 50. And then you go back 1 unit when you win. So we lost there at 10, so then you'd go to 30, because that's 2 units up. And then if I were to lose again, I'd go to 50, and then you basically have to be really patient, because if you get a lot of wins, and we won there at 30, so we'd go back to 20, which is 1 unit back. And again, I'm just giving you brief examples of these systems that are popular, that require patience, and you really have to grind it out. And then so there we lost it at 20 each. So you would go up again, and you'd go back to 40, because again with Lenny's system, you'd go up 2 units each time when you lose, back 1 when you win. And if you get on a losing streak, you have to have a large bankroll, and you have to be patient until it comes back. For instance, right there, we bet 40 each, and we lost, so we would go to 60. And you can move around the 12s. You just have to pick 2. You could pick third and first, or whatever you want on this one. But then when you win, like we won at 30, or we won at 60 each, you'd go back to 50. So you go 2 forward, 1 back. So it's another grinded out system, and it will pay off if you have a large bankroll and you're patient most of the time. So that's another example of one. But you notice all these systems, I started with the unicorn, then I talked about JS21, talked about Lenny's system. There's so many other ones that are good. You can look back over the previous systems. But then there's lots of systems that are high risk that you shouldn't use. And I'm going to talk about the things that you don't want to do now, which is start with a small bankroll and start with too high of a starting bet amount. For instance, people a lot of times throw $100 down and they start with a $20 bet. If you use a progression, that $100 is going to be gone in no time. You need something that, if you're playing martingale, you need at least 7 or 8 chances to double. And but at the same time, martingale can be very risky, because when you do lose, you'll lose like $1,000 usually if you start with $10 units. But at the same time, I did start playing roulette with martingale, but I started with very small amounts. And for those of you that play like Bet Online and do online betting, you can start with 50-cent bets and or dollar bets. And if you play that way, and you can use any of these 6 outside doing that, if you play that way, you can double, and you have a lot more chances to win. So if I was doing that, obviously I would double to 2, and then to 4, and then to 8, and then to 16. But anytime you play martingale, there's always that risk of losing everything if you have a lot of losses in a row, because you're basically just doubling. And a lot of you see that on Christopher Mitchell's stuff. And if you're going to do it, start low and have a large bankroll. What I don't agree with is that he tells everyone that you're going to win every single day. Doing that, you're not. You're going to get lucky for a while, win some money, then eventually you're going to bust, and you just have to hope that you win more than you lose. And a lot of that's up to luck when you're playing martingale. That's why a lot of these new systems are very different. They're grinded out systems that you can play for a while and not risk losing a lot. I'll go back to that unicorn again, the one from yesterday, which I really like, from Joanne Barnes. And again, with stage 1 and stage 2, even if you do lose at stage 2, you're only losing $160 with $10 bets, and you will get that back if you're patient. And and you hang in there and grind it out. But if you have any questions about any of these systems, please just leave me some comments. I'd love to get back to you. I can even find the videos that you're looking for and send them to you if you want to watch them again. Again, in this one, you go to stage 2 after a loss, and stage 2 is to increase to 6 units, and then put 2 units on 2 corners, leave out the 0, 3, 6, 7, and 10. Then that wins back the money from first stage. And you just have to be really patient with this one, and don't freak out if you do lose $160. You just got to be patient until you get enough wins to build it back up to that. And it's another good grinded out system. And that's what you're going to notice about these systems that work better. When you lose, you don't lose huge, and it might take a little more work, but if you put in the effort, time and effort, you start with small starting amounts and a large startup fund, you're just going to do a lot better in the long run. Then you can start building up your roulette fund. So anyway, I hope you enjoy watching the Masters this week, and I hope you enjoyed some of my comparisons between like Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, the way they play golf, and the way good players play roulette, and then also the way that risky players like John Daly play golf, and the way they also play roulette. And I think the better choice is to grind it out and to put in the time and effort, be prepared, and have a plan when you go to the casino, that you don't decide what you're going to do when you get there. Okay, so that's another good point. And but anyway, I was glad I could share with you today that let you know that I am a golf professional as well, and I'll be watching the Masters all week this week. If you guys play golf, leave me a message down in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you have a system to send in, please send it in, and I would love to showcase it on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Also, ring that bell for notifications, because I have new content releasing every single day of the week at 9 a.m. And this is the Roulette Master, and have a great day.